So what I wanted to do, I have a great guest today, Mr. Rye Dune. I have a great guest. You know Rye from Vine. You know him from YouTube. You know him from the Sorry Dad podcast, RIP. Um, but what I wanted to do before I get to Mr. Rye Dune is give you an update on me, because maybe this is your first time watching or listening to this podcast. I left LA in August of 2020. And after almost a decade of being in LA. And it's an intense thing. It reminded me a lot of leaving to LA, because when I left Boston, similar sort of thing. I graduated college, and I think within under a month, I'll say honestly, I think within 2 weeks, but I'll say definitely under a month of being done with school, I was in a car that I bought, driving cross country to LA. No place to live. I had a job lined up, but it was fine. It's not a knock on them. Honestly, it's a job for my first job out of college. I wasn't making a ton of money, and I was starting my life. And I worked in reality TV. I met Joey. I met Steve Simone. I did over 1,000 podcasts over 9.5 years. And even less, I guess, because I really only podcasted for 8. So, yeah, I did over 1,000 podcasts. And then COVID happened. And it's weird, because obviously way too many people lost their lives, whether that was actual physical lives or because of the pandemic, people have lost their livelihoods. And technically, I'm one of them. Technically, I should be inconsolable. You would think. I went from one of the biggest podcasts in comedy. Not obviously not top 10, but we were consistently in the top 30, top 40. And I had talked to Joey probably over 9 years. I probably had talked to him 6.5 out of 7 days. There were a very few times we didn't talk. And I saw him at least twice a week for that entire time, usually more. And I had Steve Simone. I had all my new buddies at stand-up. Stand-up was going. I wasn't really making money at it, but it was the first thing that I really enjoyed doing in a while. I was just starting my 3rd year of stand-up. I had opened for Joey at the Wilbur Theater. Still probably my best night in comedy. I had opened for Steve at the House of Comedy in Arizona. I had done shows with Sam Tripoli. I'm not gonna say I opened for Joe Rogan, but they put me on a show at the Sycamore Tavern that Joe Rogan was going on last. So, semantics. I had been on the Joe Rogan Experience many years ago. I had got to travel the country a little bit. I guess technically internationally, I went to Toronto with Steve. I had built a little life for me in LA. And then probably it was either late June or early July, I think, that I found out that the show was ending. That Joey was moving to New Jersey, and we decided that, I'll get to this in a minute, I guess. The show was ending, and I was going to be leaving it. It wasn't even a question. Not even for a minute did I consider staying in LA. With all that stuff that I just said, there wasn't it wasn't even at all an option. It could have been. I could still be there right now. I probably would have been editing reality TV again. Um, Maybe working nights. I would have had to start over a little bit, but I think I would have remembered how to do it pretty quickly. Um, but it wasn't even a discussion. I mean, I don't know who I would discuss it with. It was with myself. To me, it wasn't an option. When I said earlier I should be inconsolable, I said that because I'm actually happier than I've been in years, in a weird way. And there's a lot of unknowns right now, a lot of unknowns. But I this is not where I thought my life would be. I'm almost 30. I'll be 33 in 2 months, and right? No, sorry, 3 months. And I can do math. I know when my birthday is. I'm living with my parents. I very much enjoy it. I only got to see them maybe once or twice a year for at most a week, for almost a decade. And I very much do enjoy spending time with right now I'm with my mom. I spent 2 months with my dad. But it's not there's no option right now for me to live anywhere else. And like I said this, I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not, but it's funny, but it's true that I am doing a lot better financially right now. I only lost $400 last month. That's it. I only lost 400. Um, and with all that, with leaving LA, with living with my parents, with starting over at 32, I feel great. I really do. I mean, I'm down. The weight has a part of it. And it's weird because I was never. No, I don't think anyone who is happy that they're fat at all. Some people have accepted it, and some people, I don't know. Maybe there are some people who enjoy being big. I didn't. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed eating and the taste and 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 all of that. But the outcome I did not like. I didn't like not fitting into clothes, or not liking how I looked on camera or on pictures, or not having the self confidence to go out and date at all. I didn't like any of that. So losing 65 pounds, or 64.2, to be exact, helped a lot. That's giving me my self confidence back. Um, but I I'm learning to enjoy the process, I guess. I've never enjoyed the ride. It's something that is a huge struggle for me. When I was just, when I was growing up, I would tell my mom that, like, I was like, if as soon as my half birthday passed, I'd go, I'm closer. Like when I was 9 and gonna turn 10, I would say I'm closer to 10 than I am 9. I always looked ahead. I always There's a joke in my family that all I ever wanted was to have a job, a car, and an apartment. I was just so ready to be an adult. And I had all of those things. And now I have one of those things. um, but what I'm learning to do now is embrace the weight, I guess. and not the, oh, that's like a double. Um, I've been doing this podcast since November, I think, late October, early November. I just started the Wasteland podcast, and I've been doing podcast consulting. I've been doing my Patreon, and my YouTube is starting to get going, and the results are nowhere near there at all. But it's like when you start all my examples are food based. You know, when you can start smelling the food in the oven, and you get so excited because like, oh, I can smell the cookies. I can smell them now. But then you look at the timer on your phone, and you're like, ooh, there's still like 15, 20 minutes left. I could pull them out now, I guess, but they'd be real hot, and I might get salmonella poisoning. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait till the timer goes off. And I can smell that I'm on the right path. The cookies are out there, and I'm headed in the right direction. Why am I always based on cookies? I haven't had cookies in a long time. The problem with me before was that there is no timer. I don't have a map, and I don't have a map to follow that says do this, this, and this, and then boom, you're a success. But this is the first time, because I started podcasts before in LA, that I can do them. I'm doing 2 podcasts a week that I'm putting out. I'm doing a lot more than that. Getting stuff rolling with content. And I haven't missed a week, and I don't plan on it. And the consulting is going great. I have a lot of fun with everyone who does that. But I'm doing more. I'm actually, the day this comes out, I'm looking at a little office. Like I said, I lost $400 last month. But I need a little bit more. One of the things, and I'll have him on. I know Theo. I hope this isn't crossing any boundaries. But Theo mentioned me on Joey's podcast a few weeks ago, and I remember one of the times he came on when he was just starting to do really well, and we were talking about if he should get an office. It was more of he was talking with Joey, and I was there stoned out of my mind. But I was involved in it. He didn't ignore me. Theo was always great to me. But I remember that he was unsure, and he was going back and forth, and obviously you saw that he made the decision to do it. And obviously he's a very hard worker and extremely funny and talented. Having an office wasn't the thing that made him. But I think in putting that investment might have inspired him to work a little harder, because I'm working extremely hard right now. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. But there's still more that I could do and should be doing. So thank you very much for being on this with me. If you haven't checked out my YouTube, I don't, obviously if the number of subscribers went up, that'd be awesome. But just check in on me. I have people that I don't subscribe to, but I check in on them every couple of weeks. I have a lot of stuff that I have planned. I do this thing on my Patreon called a mastermind. I did not invent it at all, but it's one of the best things that I do on there, and just in my life. And it's something that we all get together once a month and give each other ideas and talk about what we're working on and how we're going to improve on it next month. So I'm going to start doing those for podcasters. I have a bunch of content, video, YouTube ideas that I'm going to start doing for you. And I think it'd be great for me to have an office, and just to make sure I stay on track, because I have to pay that bill every month, and I have somewhere to go, and I need to start, even though I don't have technically an office job. I need to go to an office. I need to go, so I shouldn't be in gym shorts and a polo shirt so I look fancy, gym shorts because it's comfy. I should be going somewhere every day, and putting in a good continuous work day. Um, so all of that is just culminating me being super happy. And then what I was going to say earlier is, and a lot of people, I think your heart was in the right place, but it's just, I mean, you didn't know the full, you don't, they just, you got, people assume things and they say, oh, maybe you should move to Jersey, or why didn't Joey take you? Or I told Joey from the very beginning that when he told me he was moving to Jersey, I said, listen, I would do anything for you. But what I care most about, and I think he would agree, and I don't think I'm telling anything out of place, is I said to him multiple times, I said, listen, all I care about is that we're okay. And if I would hate to move to Jersey and us get into a fight, or the podcast go downhill, or I don't like New Jersey, or whatever. And we came to the decision that the podcast was it was honestly the perfect time to end it. And we speak almost every day still. We still talk 4 to 5 times a week at least. And honestly, I think our relationship is better now than it was in LA. I think we're both happier now. I think the pressure of working together is gone, so now we can just be friends. He's doing great. I feel like I'm doing great. Mike Klein, One by One Podcast, is doing a fantastic, amazing job on all of the things that Joey's doing. And why did I say that? I am truly happier than I've been in a long time. And it's not like I'm not like waking up every day like skipping in the sunshine, but the way that antidepressants have been described to me is that it just evens everything out. Like, you're not too high and not too low. And a lot of times, and even in this discussion, I think, no, maybe not, but a lot of times that's with a negative connotation. The way I feel right now is that I'm like on a natural antidepressant, that I feel good. I feel very zen at the moment. I have bad days and I have good days, and I have busy days and slow days. I feel like I'm in Sesame Street. But and I know I'm really trying to look at the camera, but I think when I just kind of stare off into space. I'm sorry. I'm getting used to this YouTube stuff. I need to put like a little sticker there to make sure I look at it. But I genuinely feel pretty awesome. Not too high, not too low. I just feel like a normal person. And I wanted to thank you for that. All of you for listening and sticking with me. And I know some of you will find other podcasts and other people. But for those of you who stick around and those of you who come on, thank you. And if you're coming on for Rye today and you have no idea who I am, might not be the intro for you. I apologize.